So now I'm going to be reviewing Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. This was also another book for a read-along this month, and I have not read this series yet. I know, I'm kind of late. So what did I think about it? Okay, I gave this book four out of 5 lily pads because I liked it, but I didn't love it, unfortunately, and I'll tell you why. Basically, I put this book off for a long time because I was scared to read it because of the hype. Because everyone on BookTube loves the Vampire Academy series, and my sister loved it, so I was sort of scared. And I didn't really read any books about vampires. I only read the first book in the Twilight series, and I liked it. But yeah, I had never really read a vampire book before, and so I was scared because of the hype, basically. I'll describe the book to you guys, but I'll try my very best because for these type of books, like dystopian or paranormal, I'm not the best at describing books, but I will try my best. So for those of you who don't know, Vampire Academy is about a girl named Rose Hathaway. She's a vampire, and she goes to this boarding school for vampires, and basically her and her best friend Lissa, they left the academy 2 years ago because they were in danger, and basically Rose is training to be Lissa's bodyguard, so Rose always has to protect her and everything, and basically this book is about them being back at the academy, and not that much happens that I can explain. It's just a bunch of drama that happens in this book and stuff like that. So I'm sorry that I couldn't really describe this book, but if you guys want to know more about it, you can look it up on Goodreads, because trust me, it has a better summary than what I just gave you. But, okay, so what did I think about this book? Like I said, I gave it a 4 out of 5, because it wasn't that I didn't like this book. I did like it, I just didn't love it. Well, first off, I'm gonna start off by saying this book was really slow for me, and I think the first half of the book was really slow. I had a hard time getting into it, and I couldn't completely get into the book at all. Like I couldn't get into it completely, and there's also another reason why so basically I put this book down a lot, and I'll tell you guys why. But first, let me just talk about the characters. So I liked Rose. Rose is the main character. She is really, as everyone says, kick butt. She's very sassy and flirty, and she's the one who hooks up with all the guys, and all the guys like her. And I really liked her. She was a good character. I actually personally really liked Rose because I am not like her at all. Like, she's the exact opposite of me, and that's probably why I liked her, because I enjoyed reading about someone who's different than me. I loved her best friend. I loved Lissa. She was so likable. She was so sweet and nice, and I felt so bad for her, and I really liked her. I liked a lot of the other characters. Dimitri, I liked him. So basically, I liked a lot of things about this book. I liked the romance. There wasn't really much of a romance in this book, but I know as the series goes on, there is. So I'm going to tell you guys what bothered me. Okay, so I started reading this book. I forgot how far I got. I think I read like maybe 50 or 100 pages. I forgot. And I had to put it down because something made me very uncomfortable. Now, I'm the kind of person who gets very uncomfortable with blood and cutting. And Lissa cuts herself a lot. Like, whenever Lissa's really depressed and everything, she cuts herself. And the whole time I was cringing. I was, like, getting completely grossed out because that stuff really grosses me out. Which is why I usually try to stay away from darker books. And what bothered me was I was not really warned about it at all. If someone told me there was cutting in this book, I probably would not have read it because, like I said, it makes me very uncomfortable and I hate blood and I get grossed out. So the first time she cut herself, I was completely grossed out. I put it down for a few days. Then I decided to pick it back up again. I read more of the book, got over. I had to skip a chapter at first. I read more of it. Lissa cut herself again. I got grossed out. I put it back down again. Decided to pick it up again, and she kept cutting herself, but I was able to push myself through it, even though I was completely grossed out and uncomfortable. But so yeah, luckily at the end of the book, she ends up getting help, and I thought that was so good. Then I was like, thank you. And so I finally finished the book, and I am so happy I did because I hate not finishing a book. And so I'm probably gonna continue the series as well. I own the rest of the books. I own all the other books, so I will probably continue the series. But for those of you who have read this series, is there any more cutting and stuff like that? Is there anything gross in the rest of the series? Because I would love if someone could warn me about it so I'll know ahead of time. So please comment below if there's anything gross, if there's any more cutting and stuff in the book. Please let me know if it's in the rest of the series. I just wish I was warned about that. And I read tons of reviews on Goodreads and stuff, and no one mentioned that. I guess no one else gets bothered by it. I think it's just me who gets grossed out with that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's why I gave it 4 stars. Well, also because I was bored a lot. I couldn't fully get into the story. But for those of you who haven't read this book, I recommend it. I don't know if I'm going to watch the movie though. But if you guys are like me and you get uncomfortable with blood and cutting, I wouldn't really recommend this book. I mean, I was able to push myself through it even though I was grossed out. But read it if you want. I mean, it was a good book. I did enjoy it. I liked the characters. But that's the only thing that bothered me. But yeah, I still recommend this series. And then the last book I'm going to review for you guys is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This is book 1 in the Lunar Chronicles. So this book was a read-along for the group in August, and for some reason I did not finish it. I put it down for 2 months because I couldn't get into the story. And I decided to pick it back up again because, like I said before, I hate not finishing a book, especially if I bought it with my own money. And so what did I think about this book? I also gave this book 4 to 5 lily pads because I had a hard time getting into this book. The first half was boring. I think that's why I put it down 2 months ago. And then I decided to pick it back up again. And I don't know why, but for some reason, once I picked it back up, I was able to get back into it. I don't know why. All of a sudden I liked it. I don't know why. And for those of you who don't know what this book is about, basically it's a retelling of Cinderella in like a dystopian society. The main character is Cinder. She is a cyborg, so she's like half robot, half human. And it's sort of like Cinderella, where it's like she lives with an evil stepmother and she has stepsisters, and she's a mechanic, and so like that. And then she meets Prince Kai, who is the prince, and basically, this book's hard for me to describe because I have a hard time describing dystopian books. Basically, there's like a huge plague going around, and some people are affected by it, and I'm not going to say who is affected by it because I don't want to spoil anything, but it did make me sad, and I felt bad for her because I liked her. And yeah, I can't say too much about what this book is about. If you guys want to know what it's about, look it up on Goodreads. Overall, I enjoyed it when it wasn't boring. I mean, it could just be me because I heard amazing things about this book. I mean, this book has so much hype. I mean, this series has so much hype on BookTube. And so that's what made me read it. Yeah, like I said before, I had a hard time getting into it. I liked the fairy tale parts, like the retelling of Cinderella. Cinderella's probably one of my favorite fairy tales. So that's the only part I enjoyed. But the whole other dystopian part of it with the plague and everything, I didn't really like. I thought it was boring. But I liked the main character, Cinder. She was a good character. I liked her, one of her stepsisters, Peony. Is that how you pronounce her name? Is it Peony? I have no idea how to pronounce her name. She's the younger sister. I really liked her. Not gonna spoil anything. And I liked Prince Kai. He was a good guy. And I can't say too much about this book because I really don't have too much to say about it, honestly. Because not that much bothered me. Like I said, it was just boring at times. I would recommend this book if you guys love dystopian and fairy tale retellings. I would recommend Cinder. Also, even though I didn't love this book, I want to read Scarlet, which is the second book. So yeah. If you guys have read this series, please tell me in the comments what did you think about it. Did you guys read Scarlet? Is Scarlet better than Cinder? Because I heard Scarlet was better. And what did you think of Cress? And I know there's a fourth book coming out. I think it's called Winter. So yeah, I would recommend Cinder. I would recommend all of these books I mentioned. You know, I didn't love two of them, but still. But thank you guys so much for watching. Those are my reviews for today. I am currently reading Legend. I'm almost done with it. I'm going to be filming a review for Legend soon, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. Bye.